Time and time again, we see teams trading big names for various reasons. If you've been a fan of the NFL for a while, you probably have gotten a good grasp of how these things work. It was almost impossible for a team like the Tennessee Titans, with as much talent and many expectations, to go out and trade for a future Pro Bowl Hall of Famer and not expect for that to be the center of NFL conversations all summer. Before we dive into this topic, make sure to leave a like on this video if you're a fan of Julio Jones. Also, if you would like to join this month's giveaway for a brand new iPhone 12, then all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and watch this video until the end to find and comment the hidden message. Good luck! The franchise traded their second-round selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, along with their fourth-round selection in 2023 to the Atlanta Falcons for Julio Jones, and a sixth-round selection in 2023, giving the Titans a jolt of star power and some much-needed help for the receiving corps. What you may not know about the trade is that it had been in the works for longer than we know. The whole idea of Julio Jones being traded became public in the days leading up to the draft. Also, it was not until 2 weeks before the trade that it became public that Jones asked for it. What this means is that what we saw go down last month wasn't immediate. The wheels have been rolling a lot longer than that. As a matter of fact, what was a 2-week story for fans on the outside had been a 2-year story inside the Falcons building. The trade goes back to the 2019 negotiation for a 3-year, $66 million extension, which Jones landed with 2 years left on the deal he signed in 2015. The negotiation was long and difficult. It was portrayed as an affirmation of owner Arthur Blank's promise to make the greatest receiver in franchise history a Falcon forever. However, it wasn't as clear as made to seem. The wide receiver had gone to the table twice asking for a market correction to his second NFL contract. He got a temporary pay hike in 2018. This adjustment was done with the agreement that the sides would work out something more permanent a year later. The Falcons did follow through on that promise, as Jones was offered a huge contract in 2019. However, Jones didn't like it, as the deal took the entire offseason to be finalized. In fact, at some point, Jones's representatives told the Falcons franchise that if a new agreement couldn't be reached, the consistent All-Pro wanted to be traded. The relationship between the two parties was strained, and it remained so through the final 2 years, when the GM Thomas Dimitroff and then coach Dan Quinn were at the helm. Dan Quinn particularly had a strong relationship with Jones, and his exit last October only further affected Jones's relationship with the organization. By the time the new boss arrived, any chance to rebuild the relationship between the team and player had disappeared. Consequently, what seemed like a possibility in 2019 became a reality in March 2021. With the help of his agent, Jones asked for a trade, and 3 months after, Jones has gotten his wish. The 32-year-old future Hall of Famer is a Titan, and as it turns out, the road to getting there was longer than anyone on the outside realizes. How does the trade affect the Titans? The Tennessee Titans have reached the playoff in 3 of the past 4 seasons, won the AFC South in 2020, and fell roughly 2 quarters short of claiming the AFC Championship after the 2019 season. Now, Julio Jones, who has averaged nearly 1,300 receiving yards per season during his 10-year NFL career, despite missing 25 games, joins the roster of a franchise that has had 4 1,300 receiving yard efforts in its 62-year history. Formerly in the discussion for the Super Bowl championship, the Titans now appear significantly improved, especially as it pertains to keeping pace on the scoreboard with the Cheifs, who won that 2019 AFC title bout in Kansas City. In joining Tennessee, Jones joins a team that already has receiver A.J. Brown and running back Derrick Henry. Jones and Brown now easily make up the NFL's best receiving combo. The pair are undoubtedly the league's biggest tandem. Brown is 6 foot 226 pounds, and Jones is 6 foot 3, 220.
On second down, here's Ryan with pressure. Ryan going deep for Julio Jones.
Both of them will each have 15 or 20 pounds on every cornerback they face this year. This is without adding that Jones is faster than a lot of those defensive backs. Before the deal, the Titans may have had the thinnest group of receivers in the NFL. The team lost Geno Smith, and receivers Corey Davis and Adam Humphries in free agency this offseason. That is 192 missing targets from last season. The only real replacement they had brought in was Josh Reynolds, who was a fringe starter from the Rams last season and was slated to be the Titans' number 2 option. Now the receiver position has gone from the team's weakest position to its strongest. Last season, when Tennessee's defense struggled, an offense led by quarterback Ryan Tannehill, running back Derrick Henry, and wide receiver A.J. Brown carried the Titans to an 11-5 record and the AFC South title. When Jones became available, following the rebuilding of the Falcons' salary cap situation, the Titans saw the opportunity to add a top talent capable of a 100-catch season to potentially give them one of the most dangerous groups of wide receivers in the NFL. If Jones can stay on the field, he could make the Titans' offense scary. When they go to 3 wide receiver sets, they will have an explosive duo in Jones and Brown, plus a productive third wideout in Josh Reynolds. The Titans' offense has an opportunity to be a truly special unit once again in 2021. And despite losing offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who was hired as coach of the Falcons, the Titans' offense should be more dangerous and less predictable. It could bring out the best in A.J. Brown. One would think that the Titans, or maybe Julio Jones himself, would be the most excited about the trade. But the person who seems the happiest about the whole deal is Brown. Brown has long idolized Julio. The young wide receiver wears number 11 because of Jones. The pair swapped jerseys after the game in 2019, and Brown wore a Jones jersey during a pregame warm-ups against Jacksonville in December. Indeed, he has never hesitated to show his admiration for Julio Jones. Julio doesn't have any flaws to his game, Brown told ESPN on Sunday. For me, in college, he was teaching me everything and didn't even know it. That's when I didn't know him and was just watching him. Now that Brown will be lining up alongside his hero, the Titans fans cannot stop getting excited because they expect the duo to wreak havoc on opposing defensive coordinators. No NFL offense faced more defenders in the box than the Titans last season. That's what happens when Henry leads the NFL in rushes, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns for 2 years in a row. Throw Jones into the mix, and the receiving corps will draw more attention, making Henry's job easier. The injury concern the Titans might have to deal with, for various reasons. People seem to want to fault the Tennessee Titans' huge move. The injury concern may be the biggest one of the talking points, considering the fact that the Atlanta Falcons started off season 0-5 with Jones out injured. Before 2020, Julio Jones played in 47 of 48 possible games from 2017 to 2019, and from 2014 to 2019, he played in 92 of 96 games. Throughout his career, Julio Jones has averaged 9.8 yards per target, including a career-high 11.3 yards per target in 2020. What should we expect from Jones this season? Jones is absolutely still elite when he's healthy. The wide receiver is confident in his abilities after his recent trade from the Atlanta Falcons to the Tennessee Titans. "I know what I have in the tank. I'm young, still fast, still strong," Jones told reporters Thursday, per Joe Rexrode of The Atlantic. Stay tuned.
Now what is happening here? Because the ruling was incomplete, but I guess someone else.
Coming off of the best yards per target season of his career, Jones would have a stellar season for the Titans as long as he can play. We will have to wait and see how Julio Jones performs and how far the Titans can go with the addition of him on an already powerful offense. With that being said, we are going to the end of the video here. What are your thoughts on this trade, and how well do you think Jones will fit in with the Titans? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time.